Hello and welcome to my video blog. Today we will have a closer look for the Pascal project manager. In the previous video I have showed you how to install this program. If you missed this, please look at the first video. After installation, and if you use this program for the first time, you will have this kind of appearance. If you was a former user of this program, the program should have imported also already your projects and show it here in this list. If that should not be the case, you can select File, Import from previous version, and then you can one of the project files, Documente, or the internet data. Just for demonstration, I select here the projects.dat and the program imports then the files and your old projects, and you can work with them. But let's come back to the blank screen, and so I want to show how you can add projects to your projects list. You can do it either if you use one of these buttons here at the bottom, or you click on the right with the mouse in the list with the right button and select, for example, Add Entry. You can add the project files or DPR files, and let's do this once. Select here at the bottom Add Project. Select one from your disk. So I select this, for example, and the program recognize automatically with which Delphi program the project was created or at the last time worked with, and you have to add here, for example, for which platform the program is used. I come back later to the fields that are in it, but let's continue with the import of your projects. The other way you can do the import is use drag and drop from your Explorer or any file manager that you use. You can also add groups to your project, and this makes a difference if you use drag and drop or add projects, or I add group from this point here. If you use add group, we will do it here and select one group file. So then you have this dialog, and you can choose if this project should all be imported at once without dialog prompt, or you select it from here, or you will make a drag and drop action. So I use this drag this from my file manager to this program. And the difference is here that it directly offers you the dialog, and you have to go them through project by project. So that's the difference. So in the third way, for example, if you search for all project files, also in the subdirectories here, and then you can select these projects. I take it not all here for the moment, only some, and then you can copy this to the clipboard, and you go again to this side and set add from clipboard, and then you have all these projects that are here available, and you can deselect and can also import them at once, or if you deactivate this part for part, I select now import projects without prompt dialog, and then automatically you can cancel if it takes too long if needed, but it's been relatively fast, and then all your selected projects are imported. So I now start this program again, and you see that it starts my own projects that I normally managed. You can go to extra settings and can here organize how the program should behave. you can activate that it should load no database or the last edited database or a special database. This here under this file entry is only displayed if you have registered also the database server program, so that you can edit one database with more persons at the same time in the network. I will come later in an extra session to it. So let's come to the point where we look at the special data that is collected here with the projects. So there is at first time is here the project name, and then you can type in here your own name that you want to use for it. The program recognizes automatically if you have an application, a library, a package, or a web. And here you can put some additional text in it. And with this button here, automatic recognition, you can make an extra try. Normally when you add a project, this button is automatically used, but you can use it every time you want it. And here you can select an icon or another icon if the program has no icon, or you want, for which reasons ever, use another icon. So on the right side you can determine if the project is active or is it archive. And here you can also notice which platforms are supported. In this case it is only Windows 32-bit. Yeah, and here on the at the bottom you can select the framework. So VCL, FMX and Lazarus LCL projects are supported. You can here then add the Delphi version that is used. You can call the automatic recognition, and the program recognizes also which special version you use. Yeah, then we have another tab where you can also notice what category of programs you are using. It's free of your choice what you enter here. I decide between desktop and mobile, for example. And the project version, the project date, and who's the developer. And in this case, project group, there you will have an entry. If you import an Delphi project group, then you find here the full path and the name to the project group. So in this case you have a special possibility in the context menu of the project list to open also this group. And you can add here also some information for a special project repository you perhaps use. And you can also enter here a backup database that is perhaps used for this project. And you can notice also on which computer the project is developed, if there are more persons or you have more computers that you are using. I use, for example, more here in my network, then I have always info on which PC the project is developed. And here you have 3 fields free of your choice. And then you have a product page where you can, for example, note the setup file and distribution folder where you have all the setup files collected together, and also the help file you are using, and perhaps the project file for your help system. And you can also note here your product web page, so you have a fast access to this special web page where this product is handled. And here you can also note a product unique identifier. In the future it will be more used official and from some rules of the European rules, for example, so you can note it here. Then you have a tab for global information of your project, so you can add what you want here. And you have also a global product information. For example, you can collect the data about setup page, and you can also here collect the prices or something like this. This is very helpful. For example, I use this program in a network, and when I'm working on the PC, where some people order some programs and they want to have all the information about prices or so, I can have a short look into the list of the project, and I have, for example, this additional information here available. And if you have make also some videos for the products, you can in a fast way tell this also your customers. You can copy then here this video link and send them via email. On the technical note tabs, you can whatever you need, note that information that's important for you. In the components tab, you can note which components used for your program. That is also an important information. And also in future, it will be necessary if you deliver your programs that you know which components are in your program. So when the authority is asking you, you need to have this information available. On roadmap, you can here collect and note some more information like this here. And history, you can here note when where the different versions, when was their release. And here you can collect some information for cyber security, is this relevant, or once for the project and in another time for the product. So when you was busy and have collect all this data, you can very easily use filters to have a better overview over your projects and have a fast access to them. For example, you can select which type of projects here should be displayed. Should it be only FMX projects? So then we have only this list with projects for a FireMonkey, or should it be only VCL projects? And of course you can show both. And you can also use a filter and say show only all used IDE projects. So then we have that, or all installed. And we have also on the left side this filter active, and only this projects are displayed that are currently edited or editable with corresponding IDEs on your PC here. Yeah, and you can of course filter here and give some input. For example, if I'm looking for my program Safer Mail, I can relatively fast find this. And we have more filter opportunities with this special dialog. So we can create filters here, and for example I can select this one and apply, and only mobile programs were shown here. Yeah, and it's true, I have at the moment only this 3 active. And you can then clear this filter here. And another example, if I want only to see the DLL projects, then I can select this filter. And let's see how this is done. I edit this filter here, and I simply select one of the fields, and in this case project type, and I say show me this project if it has an entry for library, and I can give a name for it, and you can set also give also an additional and or filter here. And what you can also do, you can make additional filter requests. You can, for example, start and say search in all records. I do it, for example, let it make like this. Let me show all FMX projects, and I call this again and say, for example, show only mobile programs. Then I can select here also search in current selection, and then I have the same result here, but sometimes you have more complicated requests, and so it's a fantastic way to call several filter one after one, and at least you can really solve all your filter needs here. It's a very strong tool. Yeah, and you can also activate that not active projects should not be displayed here in the list, and also that project that perhaps are in a status that it is in an archive. So then some words to the list here. In the first column you see the icon of the program, then the name, the date and the type, and here which platforms are supported, so you have a very fast and direct overview which platforms you have here, and then the IDE that is used for this program and if it's active or not. And here you have some information about some lists that you can manage here in this program, if there are open features or bugs or to-dos. This other color show if there is a entry for the backlog, the BRL, is it in progress or in review, or is the project already done. And here at the right side you can have the past information for your project. You can edit this project, you can delete it, and you can open it here direct into the IDE or in the editor. When you press this button, you have also a choice between the on your PC installed IDEs. So it means you can also open an older project with a newer IDE if you select this button here on the bottom. If you click with the right mouse on the project here, you can open the project either in the Pascal editor or open this program in the current running IDE. If it's not running, it will be started. And here you can select if the IDE is already running, that it start in a new instance. And in the next item you can show the folder that is used for your project in the file manager. Here you can add a new entry, add new entries from clipboard. We have already covered it. Edit the entry, remove it, or copy selected projects to clipboards. This last entry, for example, is very useful if you have here some collected projects, and perhaps if you use also the plugin here for Pascal Manager in the Delphi IDE, you can simply copy this here into the clipboard and can import it then in the Delphi IDE Pascal Project Manager plugin. Yeah, and then let's go to the details of the project. So you have here in the list this information about the fields that you have here collected. In some cases you can have some action if you double click on it. So perhaps we select another program for demonstration, for example here, to show the technical notes that I have here collected. And you can also have a kind of a linked list on the left side for all the information that are introduced with this sign. You will have an entry here in the list, and so simply by clicking, program goes to the part what it belongs. And you can use here also direct links to call the link in the browser. Yeah, it's very helpful to have here some important information then for your project development. In the feature list, here you can add new ideas that you want managed in the next time. In the bug list you can collect some bugs that you are aware about, and then here in the to-do list you can collect things that you want to do now in comparison with the feature list that might be done sometimes later. But then we have the checklists. At the moment there are no entries. You have first collect them here in the overall checklist templates, and then you can simply add a checklist here and set add list, and check list, edit this list, for example, and then you can edit this list also and go it through one by one. For example, if you want to release a new main version, then you can go through this list and check it one by one so that you don't forget the relevant points. In the product videos, I have here in the case no entry, but there are videos I have to make also some edited small here, and yeah, the rest we have also covered here. There are at the moment no entries. You have not to make entries here if this not is necessary at the moment, then leave it free. Here on the right side we have then here this global info that you can also here collect. You can go to the detailed text where you have more information about some passes that is used in the program. That's mean also for the different platforms. Here, for example, for the Win32 platform. And you can also make a test. You said, for example, validate, and you see then if all in the search passes, for example, in those programs are used, if they are valid. Yeah, and you can also directly have an access to the project files and can filter for it. For example, if I want to have the unit with autoplay or play or so, then I can very fast access to it, and have also here a right click menu, so I can copy the name file name to the clipboard, or copy the files also to the IDE edited project. If I just were editing a project and I have some dialogues, for example, from another project that I can also use here, you have not to go and make some complicated copy and paste. With a file manager you can directly select it here and copy it to the IDE. I've made a extra video for this overview video here. In the description there is a link, and here you have components in the program from a third party, for example. Yes, and you can also print some basic information for the current project here that you have at the moment selected here, or all projects, or if you have selected more projects in the list, then you can also use this item, and you can also make here some filter or something like this. So you simply press on OK, and you can make some adjustments to the width. For example, you can give more room for the description here. Press refresh to renew the displaying. Also a short trick in the feature list. For example, if you have make an entry to the wrong project, you can select this item, click with the right mouse and select move item to project, and then you can select here the project. That was the right project. I see I have to translate this dialog to English also. That will be covered in the next version. So, and you click simply OK, and to check, we're going to PC database and looking here into the details, and we find this entry now here. So there are also a way to import data to the feature buglist or to-do list. You have here the button import, and you can select CSV file. So, and here you can assign the matching fields. Date is datum, title, short is short info, and priority. And remember, this works only if this CSV format has a pep stop sign. Simply click on OK and your data are imported. Perhaps I should mention that you can do this also the another way around. If you choose in the action menu menu the command export lists. You can select several lists here that you can import, so like this, and then you can choose which field you want export and which tabulator and so on. And if you use this N sign for multi-line fields and your import program can handle this, you can do it like this. I would recommend to watch the video that I made as a preview video for this program here. There is a detailed explanation how to export tables. So then we can go to the Kanban list. Here you have 4 columns that represent the status of your project or some items that you are working with, and you can use these entries from the details list that you have created here, the feature, bug and to-do list. And you can simply select this button, add item to backlog. Then this item will be added to the Kanban board here at the backlog. Or you can simply create an item in this view, and you can select here, is it a feature, bug, fix or to do. So you are very flexible here. And if the status has changed, you simply use it by drag and drop and move this item to the other list. And if it's done, the status, you can leave it here for a moment, or you can also select this item and say remove item from Kanban board, and you can also say remove item and mark it as finished. So then it will disappear here, and if we make a check in the detail list, then we find it here. So because we have marked it as finished, it is not visible because we have here also activated hide finished items. But if we deselect this, and then we find this point again that we have just declared as finished. So perhaps one word more here to this dialog. You have a title. A title, that is a part that is here, one can see in bold. And short info, this is information that is just downside. And this details is here not visible, so you have to open this dialog if you want to see the details. But you find the type here is represented with this little bug, and the priority you can also not see here. You have to open this dialog. So this feature list, bug list, to do are very fine if you want to write this not on a simple paper, and you can collect it here and then work with it one by one. And so it's a very good method to have all these things together, and you have a very good overview on which items you have to work. So then let's go to the other items that here are in the toolbar. For example, the policies. Here you can collect rules or best practices for the way how you design your programs, and you look at things that you should forget, or take care in advance that you look at all these things that are important. For example, cyber security by default and cyber security by design, and something like this. You can add or edit items with this dialog, and so you have all points together, and it's helpful to create some rules that one should have in mind if you develop programs. I think we can make only a click through these several points here, because we have covered it also in the first introduction video, so I don't have to add more here in this video, but perhaps some more information to the IDE-Manager. Here are all the Delphi IDEs listed that are installed on your machine, and you have some basis information here, where the program is installed, where are the common files, and where are the default project folder, and something like this. and you have also an information which compiler version this Delphi version has. So if we go through here, you can see this changes, and you can also here change the language of the Delphi IDE just right from this part here. And you have here also a styles tab where you can copy some files. When I click with the right mouse button here, I have some commands that I have also translate to English, I see here. And you can here click simply on the viewer button, and then the program start a viewer where you can have a preview how this tile looks. Here on the next tab you can have a simply way to copy some setup programs that you need if you working with Linux or Mac OS. So you can choose here a folder where the files should be copied, and you set copy to destination. And so it's not necessary to walk through all these menus to copy these files. On projects you have here on one hand the last used projects that you can also directly open from here in Delphi or the Pascal editor, or you can copy the project path to the clipboard, or all selected paths to clipboard. And you can also have a look to the favorite tabs and also to the demos. There is a very easy way to find these demos. For example, if you searching demos for Bluetooth, then just type this words here in this find editor, and you have all demos that are handling with Bluetooth, and you can of course also edit and open them very fast from this way here. Yeah, and now the Delphi DB, where we have collect all the Delphi version and subversion and the date where it is issued. Some dates might be not correct, I have to check them. And you have also here the Delphi project version, the compiler version, the BDS version, the BPL version, and the FMX version. You see not all entries are filled. I have to work a little bit on it, but it's very helpful if you're looking for some components when where they're introduced. For example, if you want to know with which Delphi version the virtual image was available, so simply click this word here, and we find here the virtual image. So it was in Delphi Sydney 10.4. Let's see when the virtual image list was released. It was already here in Delphi Rio, the image collection and the virtual image list. And of course you find a lot of more information that belonging to the VCL, to the RTL, new components, new properties. For example, here in the Delphi 11.3 Alexandria, the control list has a new multi-select option. Sometimes you have a need to know when this all happened, and you should find a lot of this from this information here in this database. What I've forgotten to mention, I have also on the right side here above added a possibility to click on this link, and the official declaration with a lot of more information from Embarcadero will opened, and I have collected also where all the time where the information were available. I see I have to add also some links, but that will be done in the 1, 2, 3 next releases of this version. So as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, it is also possible to work with more users together on one file, and it's handled with a PC database manager. I show you this program is running here on my server PC. There you can install the program, and in this file entry you can add this file that should be handled together in a network here, the project's database. And if I update this program, you can see which persons are connected with the server program and which databases are edited. And it's relatively simple to set up this connection. At first I close the database, and you can do it also with a test version. So you have here on extras network and information test. So you can enter the name of the server of the PC where the server program is running, and then you can test the connection if they're working, and you see here also is fine. And then you can go to extra settings. At the program start, you can also set that the program should start in network mode. Here, open file in network mode, and this file that is handled from the server program should be open. But you can every time also use the file open in network mode dialog, where you can ask for the file lists that are handled there. And this is a project's database, and then I can simply open it. If it needs a password, I can add it also to this dialog. So it's very easy to set up this dialog and work with it. And if one person is editing here in project and another person would try to open this dialog also, you get information that the dialog is blocked at the moment from user XYZ, and so he have to wait until the first user is ready, then he can add his information to the program. So I think we are more or less through, and before I close this video, perhaps as a short but interesting preview, I just told you something about the demos here, for example, and perhaps let's select one VCL demo, and you can open this in the Pascal editor. That will be done. You can open more or less all the demos that are with the Delphi, and you can have a look at the form here, and you can compile it and run it. So you can use here, select the Delphi IDE, this in the case Delphi 11 Alexandria, and simply click start. We'll do it again. So, and the program is compiled. So that's an easy way, if you have some demos or projects, that you can open this also here in this Pascal editor and let it compile and see how it looks. So that is a short preview for that was coming next in the Pascal editor, and there are much more interesting things in that. So that's all for today. I hope you have enjoyed, and I hope you see you soon in the next video. That's all for today. Bye bye.